associated at Elizabeth Office, Melbourne, Victoria. As you all know, during this time, we are facilitating students with various range of entry requirements that are there as per pertaining to your student visa. What are the conditions that you need to maintain, or you need to meet, mandatory conditions that you need to meet whenever you're applying for a student visa for Australian studies. We have already covered certain set of documents, certain set of topics earlier, and today's topic is about English requirements. So we would be touch basing all the questions pertaining to English requirements whenever you are lodging a student visa. Before I would go ahead and start with the topic of English requirements, I'd like to advise you a little bit about how Australian government assesses the applications, and what's the base to which a student visa applications are created or assessed. I think most of you would be knowing what risk assessment levels are. Australia has categorized countries into various risk assessment levels, and they have categorized colleges as per their AQF levels, as per their assessment levels as well. So whenever it comes to risk assessment level and the assessment level of the college, that's how they actually coincide with a certain set of documents that are required. Suppose you fall into a risk assessment level category 1, and then you move on to a assessment level 1 provider. In that case, you are waived off most of the requirements of English and your fund requirements, and then you can just need to submit your mandatory documents and you can apply for visa. Similarly, suppose you are at risk assessment level 3, and suppose you're applying for Australian study requirements. There are the set of requirements or the set of documents that are required for student visa would increase tremendously. As you all are aware, India is currently at risk assessment level 3. So English is a mandatory requirement when you apply for your student visa. Before we could start, there have been too many questions that yes, what all tests are there when it comes to English or to meeting the English requirement category. So guys, there are 2 English requirement categories that need to be met that we'll discuss shortly. So the basic tests that a student needs to cater to in order to start their study or in order to start their study performer in Australia itself are Ielts, PTE, OET, TOEFL, Cambridge English Advanced Certificate. So these are the test requirements these are the tests which are accepted by most of the universities across Australia and by immigration as well. So today we would be focusing on what are the English requirements from a study perspective or a university perspective, and what are the English requirements as per the immigration perspective. Immigration as of now has set a very low study requirement or an English requirement score, which is 5.5. Now 5.5 is Ielts. They are accepting Ielts, PT, TOEFL, OET, Cambridge English test at the moment as well. So because due to lockdown, we might not be able to give these tests, they have given a waiver as well. And so have universities. Universities have set their separate requirement for English scores to be met in order to go ahead with your requirements, in order to go ahead with your courses. So let's start at a wet level. Wet is basically your diploma level courses, diploma, advanced diploma level courses. So in case you are planning to study for diploma or advanced diploma level courses, you need to meet at least minimum of 5 IELTS, no band less than 5. So you can go ahead with a 5 band equivalent in PT IELTS, equivalent could be in PT, TOEFL or Cambridge International, or you can go ahead with LCOS leading to diploma or advanced diploma. However, LCOS is not a preferred pathway to certain providers. Then we move on to undergraduate programs. For undergraduate programs, the minimum requirement set is 6 bands, no less than 5.5. So in case that's a generic requirement that has been set out for a bachelor's program, guys. That's not for every particular course. So for with courses, that would change drastically. So let's assume, suppose a student is coming to study nursing in Australia. Now, nursing English requirements are set at a very high band. You are required to have 7 each in English requirement as compared to a general score of 6 overall compared to other bachelor's qualification. Suppose you're coming for bachelor's of business. The IELTS score that would be required would be 6. Whereas if you're coming for occupational therapy, you're coming for pharmacy, you're coming for further courses like design, certain design courses, there the English requirement would drastically change to 7. So you need an overall score of 7 each. In nursing, however, they have a very different requirements. In nursing, you need to have an overall score of 7 and equivalent of 7 each in all the parameters: speaking, writing, listening. So you need to match those categories of 7 each in all the 4 parameters before you could go ahead and get yourself uh, seek an admission into nursing program. However, with the nursing program, there's a catch. So you can give your best scores of 2 tests. Suppose you give a test of within a time frame of 6 months. In one test, you have scored 7, 7, 6.5, 6.5. Whereas in another test, another PT or IELTS test, you have scored anywhere around 6.5, 6.5, 7, 7. So in short, you have scored an overall score of 7 with no band less than 6.5. You can compile these two test results provided they are in last 6 months only. They can be presented as 7 overall and 7 each to university to seek admission in bachelor's of nursing. So there are different requirements that are set out for which you can actually have in case you're not able to understand the requirements, you can always go ahead and contact our Mehsana office. We have our office at Mehsana branch, and you can go ahead and contact the qualified education consultants over there, and they would be able to guide you further when it comes to the English requirements that have been set. Similarly, for teaching courses, certain university at bachelor's level, they accept an overall score of 7.5 with a particular score of 8 in listening and in reading. Now, certain universities, they only accept IELTS, whereas there are universities which will accept PTE as well. There will be handful of universities that would be accepting that score, not all universities. So for teaching, again, the requirements are set out to be very high of 7.5 overall, with 8 in listening and in reading, and 7 in other 2 parameters altogether. So you need to score that in order to seek the admission further. Then comes your lab sciences. So if you want to study bachelor's in lab sciences, again, you need to have an overall score of 7. In case you want to go ahead and study a special education course, then also you would need an overall score of 7.5, be that at a bachelor's level. For occupational therapy, as we discussed, again, you need 7 each. Again, for bachelor's of social work, there are certain universities which might accept at a score of 6 or 6.5 overall, no band less than 6. However, there are universities which are very strict when it comes to their bachelor's of social work, and they accept only 7 each, or 7 overall, no band less than 6.5. So you can get your file assessed, and in case you want to get your English scores assessed as well, we can do that as well for you. So you can contact any of our education consultants, and we would be more than happy to check those entry requirements for you. Now moving on to master's level qualification. The generic English requirement that has been set for a master's level course is 6.5, no band less than 6. That's a generic requirement that has been set for most of the courses like MBA, accounting, IT, and suppose any marketing related courses as well. However, again, there are particular courses for which you need to have a certain high category of English language scores, like nursing. Again, Masters of Nursing, 7 each. So it's 7, no band less than 7. So you have a category of 7 each, no band less than 7, and you can give PT, OET, TOEFL as well. TOEFL in certain colleges, it's not acceptable. Best is to go ahead with IELTS, PT, and OET. These are the test results that are actually acceptable for these courses. Sorry. Moving on further, for Masters in Lab Sciences, Masters in Occupational Therapy, and Masters of Social Work. Again, the minimum requirement that has been set out is 7. Now that's 7 each. However, certain universities, they accept a social work score of, for Masters of Social Work, they accept a score of 7 overall, no band less than 6.5. There are certain universities, especially in Victoria as well, which would accept score of 6.5, no band less than 6. So you can go ahead and contact us, and we would be more than happy to assist you. Now, as you know, bachelor's and master's, apart from these 2 courses, there's another AQF level course, which is graduate diploma. Now, there are different courses when it comes to graduate diploma. That's a 1-year program that's there. That can be packaged as well for your master's program. So in case you're not able to meet the English requirement for master's program, you can package a graduate diploma course along with the master's. So you need to suffice those graduate diploma entry requirements as well. Now, graduate diploma entry requirements are pretty less as compared to your master's level program. For graduate diploma, your overall band is required, a band required as 6.5. In certain courses, it's 6. Now, there are certain courses of teaching as well, where graduate diploma of early childhood education scores are set out at 6.5, no band less than 6.5, or overall 7, no band less than 6.5. However, only based on those program you cannot apply for your student visa. You need to package it up with master's level program. So it's best and it's advisable to follow the entry requirements of a master's level program. Again, guys, please note, these are the entry requirements that have been set out by providers or education providers or universities, colleges, and institutes. These are not the entry requirements that have been set out by immigration. Immigration has very clearly mentioned that you need an IELTS score of 5.5, no band less than 5, in order to get your student visa granted. We do have a commotion going on where students say that we can enroll into providers without English language scores. Yes, you can do that. There are different pathways that the providers can help you out with, like Cambridge certificate or foundation studies leading to bachelor's and master's, or a certain LE course or a certain week of LE course associated with it. But however, please note that doesn't waive off your immigration requirements. Immigration at any given point of time can ask for English language test results, irrespective of the assessment level of provider you are going ahead with. So suppose you're going ahead with provider of assessment level 1, still that's not a mandatory document for you to submit your English language test results. However, immigration case officer can come back to you and ask for your results at any given point of time. So it's very important to have those results handy and ready with you. Guys, before we move on to next topic, I would like to touch base few of the questions that we have been ongoing. So just bear with me while we shortlist the questions that are there. So we have a question from Yash Patel from Mehsana. He has a question in regards to diploma, where he says, he has just mentioned what all requirements are there for diploma. Yash, you can always go ahead and contact our Mehsana office, and they would be more than happy to assist you out. You can give them a call or you can visit them, and they would be able to assist you which diploma would be beneficial for you, what are the entry requirements for that, and how you can lodge your visa based on that as well. In case you wish to contact any of our Australian offices, we have our contact details available as well, and you can feel free to contact us at any given point of time. Our contact details have already been shared, so you guys can actually get in touch with us over there as well. Next question has been asked by Amir Vora from Mehsana again, and they have requested for full information about study for overseas. That's a very nice question to ask, Amir, because definitely before you could proceed with your study, you need to fulfill a certain set of requirements that are there. In order to understand what the requirements are, again, please visit our Mehsana office. There's a very nice team, very educated team sitting over there to help you out, and they can guide you very well when it comes to these set of requirements that you need to meet. Then there's a question about finance that has been asked by Sanjay Patel. Sanjay, we have already touched based a finance question or a finance session. I think the last session that was conducted was for finance itself. So you can always go ahead and see that session. Those sessions are available at our Aussizz Group. They are available at Instagram. They are available at YouTube as well. You can go ahead and view those sessions at any given point of time as well. Still you have questions, please visit any of our branches, give call to any of our branches across the globe, and we are more than happy to assist you out with that as well. Moving on further, I think we'll touch base the questions that have been requested at any of our live sessions. So just give me a moment and bear with me, guys. Before we move on to next topic, let's see if any of the interesting questions have been asked by any of the team members over here. Okay. I think we have answered most of the questions. So let's move on to next topic, guys. So what is the validity of a student or English language test results for student visa per se, or for your academic per se? So guys, most of you are aware, most of you might not even be aware that any English test is valid for 2 years for study purposes. 3 years for migration, but for study purposes, it's valid only for 2 years. So your test result score should be up and valid when you lodge your student visa application and when you apply for your COE or your offer letter. So you need to have a valid test result score, which is valid for 2 years. So suppose you gave your test in January 2020, the scores would be valid and the test result came in Jan 2020. Your results are valid till Jan 2022 for educational purposes. So you can provide that to colleges, you can provide that to immigration. However, in case you want to upgrade those test results at any given point of time, you can do that. There aren't any restrictions as to how many tests you can give. So you can always go ahead and upgrade those test results scores should you wish to do that. Moving further, guys, during the COVID time, there have been a very good question that have been asked every time that, okay, I'm sitting at home. It's a lockdown. At most of the countries, there's a lockdown as well. So most of the test centers have been cancelled. Most of the tests I cannot give. So what are the provisions that are there during the COVID-19 time? So during this pandemic time, guys, there are other options that are there in case you're not able to give your IELTS or PT test results. There are IELTS Indicator. So first is IELTS Indicator. You can give it online, and you can do it at your own leisure as well. So it's a IELTS Indicator test which is acceptable by universities, institutes, colleges, and also by immigration. Second test is TOEFL IELTS Special Edition, Home Edition. That test is also acceptable. Then comes the third one is Duolingo. Even your Duolingo is very well accepted by immigration as well as by most of the colleges or the providers. So you can give any of these tests while you're not able to visit personally to PT or IELTS center. So you can give these tests online. They have the provision of, you guys have the provision of giving these tests online, and you can give these tests at any given point of time. However, please know these test results are still valid for 2 years only, not more than that. So even if you give an online test or you visit a center, still the validity of the test would remain same. The test minimum test scores required for entry as well as for student visa would still remain the same as well. Then comes your special courses, which we have already discussed, guys. Please note, I'm just reiterating, for special courses, there is still a confusion among students. I do get queries where students are saying that we want to do nursing. But in order to meet the requirements of these special courses like nursing, teaching, social work, occupational therapy, lab sciences, pharmacy, you need to meet their English requirements that are set by the provider itself. Now, every provider might have a different set requirement, except for nursing, because nursing has been set out by AFRA, which is the basically regulatory body of Australia as well when it comes to nursing courses or health courses. So that can't be waived off. So it's 7 each, irrespective which university, which provider, which institute you're going ahead with. However, for other courses, there might be a slight waiver. That would depend on certain colleges and certain providers as well. So you can always go ahead and contact us, and we would be able to tell you which college is more suitable for you. And English test is not the only parameter based on which student visas are granted. So it's always advisable consult a person who already has an information pertaining to student visas, or you can always go ahead and read through these informations. We have very good groups across Telegram, across our Facebook pages as well. We keep sharing information to provide you with as much information as we can. So we do have PTE tutorial app. So we have IELTS tutorial apps, which you guys can enroll as well. Now, apart from that, you can always go ahead and meet any of our consultants, and they can enroll you for PT or IELTS test or IELTS test preparation, which has been set out. So we have very good tutors, very qualified tutors who would be able to provide you with your PT and IELTS test help. So apart from that, apart from the apps that are there, you can go ahead and visit them, and they would be able to help you out. They would be able to analyze your test scores, which is done at the app as well. And they would be able to guide you through with the strategies on how you can work ahead to get a better score. We also have other groups like Study, Work, and Settle on Instagram or Telegram. So you can go ahead and get yourself into that group. We keep sharing the information pertaining to Australian studies, Australian migration, entry requirements, different courses that are there. So you can proactively gain a lot of information from these groups, which Aussizz has formed in order to facilitate students all across the group. So you can always go ahead and meet new people, discuss with them certain cases that have been discussed all together, new visas that have been launched, what parameters that has been launched. what are the English requirements, and everything can be met across these groups that have been set out by Aussizz Group to help you out. Or so you can go ahead and meet people and meet our consultants, or get a knowledge from these groups that have been set out specifically for you to facilitate your sessions or to facilitate your knowledge across the globe. Uh, Another thing, guys, most of the Indians, they have traveled. We guys love traveling as well. So you guys might have traveled and studied from a different countries as well. So suppose you have completed your qualification from an assessment level one country, say that you've already studied from Australia, you went back to India, you've already studied from Canada, you went back to India, New Zealand. These countries, they are at a risk assessment level one. For them, if you have completed 5 years of qualification in these countries, there is an immediate waiver of English. So even colleges, institutes, providers, and immigration, they would give you an immediate waiver of English because you've already completed an English, you have already completed a major chunk of your qualification from an English-speaking country, where the major or where we call a mother tongue is basically English. So if you have completed studies from any of these countries, then you're waived off or exempted from giving your English test, and you can directly go ahead and enroll yourself. Guys, we would be taking up questions and answers shortly. So please do keep bugging us with your questions. It's very important for us to understand what you guys want to know and what all information you are interested in seeking. So please do leave your questions. In case our session's over or you have questions pertaining to previous sessions, you can go ahead and ask those questions to us as well, and we would be more than happy to answer that. I would be taking up a few questions that are there at YouTube as well. So if you could please answer that. Bear with me. I'll just quickly take up any questions that are there. Wow, it's a very nice session, and I think everybody's getting them, which is very good. We don't have much questions over here. I think we have covered most of the topic when it comes to study per se, English requirements, any waivers that are there. So we have covered a lot of topics when it comes to such courses, certain courses as well. Apart from that, guys, still, if you have any questions, please do feel free to contact any of our branches, and we would be more than happy to assist you out. Just reiterating, guys, we do know, and immigration and Australian providers do know, that you guys are not able to give any of the IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, OET, or Cambridge tests at the moment. So there are indicators available. So you have TOEFL indicator, you have IELTS indicator, you have TOEFL home edition, and you have your Duolingo test available, which are online as well, which would facilitate you to study further in Australia and to work over here as well. I mean, to gather that knowledge or the practical exposure that's there when it comes to the study requirements that you need to meet. Most of the providers as well, they are accepting these scores. In case they are not accepting these scores, they are giving you a set time frame to appear for these tests. So you can always go ahead and start your admission process, especially for high demand courses like nursing, occupational therapy, or even for bachelor's, any bachelor's or master's level courses. Just start your process way ahead in time so that universities and colleges could give you an ample amount of time in order to go ahead and give these test scores for you to be enrolled on the right time, and you can lodge your visa processing takes an ample amount of time as well. So even if case officer comes back and asks for English tests results, they would be more than happy to provide you a certain time frame within which you will have to provide them with a test result as well. So guys, we have covered all that's there when it comes to English requirements to be met for your student visa. We have already touched base certain topics earlier. So please, guys, feel free to ask any questions that you have. You can visit any of our offices. We have our office at Mehsana branch. We have well-trained education consultants, well knowledgeable, and very lovely people. In fact, if you can go and meet them and ask them any question that you want, they are very patient, and they are very good when it comes to their knowledge source as well. And they would be more than happy to answer any question that's there. Should you wish to contact me as well, you can contact us through Facebook or any of our Aussizz Group page. You need any information pertaining to any particular course, please feel free to consult our consultants. You can get yourself browse through our Facebook pages. visit our YouTube live sessions that we have done previously. In case you need any help on your PT or IELTS test, you can always get enrolled in with our tutors that are providing you with PT and IELTS test, uh, sort of like mediating you to get those certain set of scores. They can assess you, help you out throughout your process. They can give you one-on-one interactions as well. So do visit our offices, do visit our website, and we would be more than happy to assist you out should you need any for further information. Thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you again with another live session that will be conducted by one of our team members itself. And we would be touch basing more on other topics that are important when it comes to your immigration point of view or your student visa per se point of view for getting the student visa granted. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.